Before we deconstruct the brutal, mathematically unforgiving reality of the 2026 labor market and the catastrophic illusion of long-term career scripting, I have exactly 3 critical questions for you to answer in the comments below. Number 1. Are you currently plotting a rigid, step-by-step, 5-year career path completely blind to the fact that autonomous AI will obliterate half of those targeted roles before you ever reach them? Number 2. Do you understand the lethal difference between having a static chronological timeline and possessing a dynamic, long-term, sovereign vision that survives technological disruption? Number 3. When global tech leaders explicitly warn that entire professions are about to be wiped out, do you double down on your outdated roadmap, or do you violently pivot your cognitive architecture? Let me know your answer. I'm Dr. HR, and I approach the global labor and capital market not with emotional, comforting advice, but as a cold, structural, algorithmic system. I hold a PhD in human resources, a master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences TISS in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in computer engineering. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for Tier 1 corporate entities, sovereign wealth funds, and apex tech founders across the Middle East and India. I monitor exactly how global talent acquires maximum leverage and how it systematically destroys its own value. The market does not reward you for sticking to an obsolete script. It rewards absolute, uncompromising agility. For generations, the global education matrix has fed graduates a highly toxic linear algorithm. Pick a job, plot the promotion, and know exactly where you want to be in 10 years. In May 2026, that advice is not just outdated, it is a financial suicide. When you map out a rigid career trajectory in an era of exponential technological disruption, you are engineering your own obsolescence. The roles you are desperately chasing today will look completely different or evaporate entirely within 36 months. We are tearing down the illusion of a corporate ladder, exposing the raw physics of an AI-driven market volatility, and delivering the exact architectural blueprint to build an unshakable career framework that thrives on chaos. Stop scripting your future, start engineering your adaptability. Grab a notebook, it is time to audit your trajectory. Phase 1. The Sandberg Revelation, the danger of the script. We must first diagnose the exact structural failure of a long-term career plan. To do this, we look at the telemetry provided by one of the most powerful operators in the Silicon Valley history, Sheryl Sandberg, the former Chief Operating Officer of Meta. Addressing graduates recently, Sandberg delivered a profound contrarian reality check. Don't script your career when the future is uncertain. You don't need a 10-year plan. If I had one, I would have missed the internet. Let us run the physics of her execution. Sandberg graduated from Harvard in 1991. At that exact moment, the World Wide Web had just been invented and was not even released to the public. After a stint at a Treasury Department under President Bill Clinton, she faced extreme market friction. She struggled to find her next role, facing months of biological fear, believing she might never secure a position. When she finally gets an offer, she was terrified the company might not even survive. That highly uncertain, volatile startup was Google. Today, Google commands a $4.7 trillion market capitalization. Sandberg embedded herself in the early days, aggressively scaling its sales team from 4 biological humans to 4,000, before becoming Mark Zuckerberg's ultimate structural integrator at Facebook. None of this could have been planned. The technology that generated her multi-million-dollar wealth and the specific executive roles it created did not mathematically exist when she graduated. If Sandberg had stubbornly clung to a rigid 10-year plan written in 1991, she would have climbed a traditional legacy corporate ladder. She would have ignored the chaotic, unproven search engine startup because it did not fit the parameter of her script. She would have traded exponential asymmetrical upside for a predictable low-yield illusion of safety. In 2026, the global labor market is experiencing an algorithmic shift infinitely more violent than the invention of the internet. Trying to script your future isn't just pointless, it mathematically guarantees that you will miss the exact technological wave designed to change your life. Phase 2. The macro anxiety matrix, the perpetual worst year. We must address the extreme biological panic currently paralyzing Generation G and recent graduate across the UAE, India, and the global grid. You are entering a labor market just as it is being completely overhauled by the autonomous artificial intelligence. Tech titans from OpenAI's Sam Altman to Anthropic's Dario Amodeo are continuously sounding the alarm that the entire white-collar profession are on the verge of total erasure. The World Economic Forum released telemetry warning that nearly half of the global executive plan to fire and replace human workers with bots within the next 4 years. Entry-level biological operators are standing squarely on the firing line. The fear is entirely rational, but the panic is an operational failure. Sandberg acknowledged this anxiety directly. You have seen the headlines. This year's graduates face the toughest job market in decades. But she also deployed historical data to completely dismantle the uniqueness of this panic. The media narrative is a recycled algorithm. Sandberg brought the reset. Let me read some other headlines. This year, college class face a daunting task: finding jobs in the world's worst economy since the Great Depression. That was 2003. Hopes for an easy job search have fizzled as graduates enter their weakest market in decades. 2009. The historical telemetry dates back to 1971, declaring the current year the worst year ever to graduate is a legacy tradition. The global economy is not collapsing, it is resetting. The market is purging obsolete skills and reallocating capital to operators who command the new intelligence. Every single generation has faced massive structural friction, and every single generation has figured it out. The 2026 AI disruption is not an apocalypse. It is a hyper-accelerated filtration mechanism. The market is testing your cognitive elasticity. If you panic, you are filtered out. If you adapt, you capture the vacuum left by your terrified competitor. Phase 3. The end of the 5-year plan, agility over rigidity. If the 10-year plan is dead, what about the 5-year plan? CEOs across the global technology landscapes are violently agreeing that even a half-a-decade roadmap is a lethal liability. Ryan Rolandski, the executive vice president of LinkedIn and Microsoft Office, recently classified the 5-year plan as a fundamentally outdated, given the sheer velocity of AI integration in the workplace. Rolandski stated, "In reality, when you know technology and labor market and everything is moving beneath you, I think having a 5-year plan is a little bit foolish." We must look at this through the lens of a pure enterprise strategy. Liz Baker, CEO of a Greater Good Charities, an organization that has distributed over $1 billion in impact across 121 countries, operates on a same cold logic. If I had done a 5-year plan 5 years ago and we stuck to it, we wouldn't be around. You have to be nimble. Her organization now structures its strategic plan in 6 months or sometimes 3 months micro sprints. Let us apply the principles of Lean Six Sigma directly to your career architecture. In Lean Six Sigma, we utilize the value stream mapping, the VSM, to identify the exact flow of value and ruthlessly eliminate muda, the waste. When you spend your cognitive bandwidth obsessing over a rigid 5-year career roadmap, you are generating a massive amount of waste. You are planning for a market state that will not exist. You are optimizing a value stream that the AI will entirely reroute in 18 months. In a high-speed, autonomous economy, agility is your ultimate competitive mode. You must map your career in 90 days execution cycle. What specific high-friction problems can you solve today? What new AI architecture can you master this quarter? You do not map the entire ocean. You navigate the immediate waves with absolute unyielding precision. Phase 4. The Milestone architecture replacing Chronology. How do you organize a career if you completely abandon chronological planning? You must transition your mind from a calendar-based system to a capability-based system. When apex operators visualize their trajectory, they do not build a timeline anchored to chronological years like 2028 to 2030. They use specific milestone dates: milestone 10, milestone 15, milestone 20, milestone 30. These are conceptual structural stages of cognitive and financial leverage. Milestone 10, the acquisition of base level technical fluency and ability to seamlessly orchestrate autonomous AI agent within a corporate framework. Milestone 15, the transition from a task executor to a system thinker, where you begin designing the workflow that other humans and machines follow. Milestone 20, the achievement of absolute sovereign leverage, where your specific architectural judgment generates multi-million dirham revenue, decoupling your compensation from your biological hours. Milestone 30, total capital and operational sovereignty. By removing the calendar years and focusing exclusively on the milestone, you eradicate the biological panic of being behind schedule. If the market shifts violently tomorrow due to new OpenAI release, your chronological plan is destroyed, but your milestone architecture remains perfectly intact. You simply apply your updated tools and pivot your angle of attack to reach the next structural milestone. You must completely detach your professional identity from the passage of time and anchor it entirely to the accumulation of high leverage capability. Phase 5, the short-term direction and the long-run dream. If we eliminate the rigid script, what replaces it? How do you prevent yourself from drifting aimlessly in a chaotic market? Sheryl Sandberg provided the exact two-path algorithmic formula. You don't need a 10-year plan. You need two things: a short-term direction, something to work towards right now, and a long-run dream, a sense of life you want to build. The critical directive is this: don't try to connect those 2 points. The path is going to surprise you, and the opportunity lies in those surprises. This is a sovereign paradox. You must simultaneously hold a massive, unshakable long-term vision while operating with absolute hyper-tactical short-term execution without worrying about the middle steps. Let us validate this with the telemetry of a Dan Roser and the CEO of Asana. Rogers argues that without some kind of a future vision, it is mathematically impossible to know where to deploy your daily energy. He possessed a grand 25-year sovereign vision. To be a Silicon Valley CEO, he has absolutely no idea how he was going to be there. He did not have a step-by-step 10-year plan, but every single micro decision he made in the short term was algorithmically weighted against the ultimate end goal. He referenced Michael Jordan, who reportedly had an MBA poster above his bed as 5-year-old. It was not a logistical plan, it was a visual, biological anchor, a vision he never let go. If you are a Generation Z operator entering the workforce today, or a mid-level executive trying to survive the AI purge, you must articulate your ultimate calling. You must picture the exact parameters of a sovereign life you demand. Where you live, the leverage you command, and the capital you generate. Keep it front and center. But tomorrow morning, you do not worry about a year 5. You apply your maximum cognitive bandwidth to the friction sitting directly in front of you. You master the tool, you solve the immediate corporate bottleneck, you let the daily execution naturally pull you towards the sovereign vision. Phase 6, the sovereign execution thriving in chaos. We have diagnosed the lethal danger of a 10-year script. We have exposed the historical illusion of the worst job market, mapped the necessity of a 90-day micro sprint, decoded the milestone architecture, and established the sovereign paradox. The final phase is your execution protocol. If you're standing in the middle of the 2026 labor market, staring down an autonomous algorithm designed to replace you, how do you win? You must deploy the chaos exploitation protocol. Step 1. Burn the script. Go to your digital file, find your 5-year career roadmap, and permanently delete it. It is a psychological anchor that is blinding you to peripheral opportunity. You must embrace the void. Step 2. Optimize for high friction exposure. If you do not have a long-term plan, you must ensure your short-term direction is violently optimized for learning. Do not take the safe job with a predictable trajectory. Take a volatile, undefined role in a high-growth sector. Embed yourself in the exact center of an AI disruption. The more chaos you absorb today, the higher your structure value tomorrow. Step 3. Master the adjacent skill. The future belongs to the synthesizer. The AI will perfectly execute isolated tasks. The human operator must connect the nodes. If you are in HR, master data architecture. If you are in finance, master prompt orchestration. You build a latest work of capability that no single algorithm can replicate. Step 4. Trust the non-linear path. You will face setback. You will take roles that seems like detour. Do not panic. The greatest careers are not straight lines. They are complex, multidimensional geometric structures built on unpredictable pivots. Look closely at the anxiety circulating in your peer group today. Look at the thousands of professionals desperately trying to cling to old rules of the labor market that died 24 months ago. They are terrified of the unknown because they have built the identity on a script. The sovereign operator does not fear the unknown, they weaponize it. They understand that a high volatile, unpredictable market is the ultimate environment for a rapid, asymmetrical wealth generation. Stop trying to predict the exact job title you will hold in 2036. Focus entirely on building the unshakable cognitive machinery that guarantees you will dominate whatever the market looks like when you get there. Define the dream, execute the present. Let the path surprise you. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I will see you at the top.